Video's going. Let's
Oops.
see. I gotta mute this tab. There we go. Don't
Mute the tab.
Mute the tab.
The problem is when this thing shipped, the corners got a little bent. So this thing would be really nice if this thing fit in the in this little record frame.
You could probably
Why
trim
don't I have
the
a Christmas album in there? I really
don't
should.
know, but you could trim the laminate.
I could. Yeah, totally could.
Make it fit or whatever.
I could actually just
That's my own. That's my favorite use of any AI so far. Is you got a wanted poster out of it. I like it.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's about the only good use out of the
Lately. All right, here we go. Recording is confirmed. Let's see, video confirmed. Okay, here we go. Everybody, enjoy this in 3, 2, 1.
You see, your stupid minds, stupid.
Damn. The morning stream. Time to put some hustle behind this muscle.
Good morning and welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. We got a 2222 in the house.
Just for a little while longer, though.
122222. That's three. Wait.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2,
One
3.
is basically 1 2 2 2 2 2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
2 2 2 2.
I mean, it's not like a 2 2 2 2 2, but it's pretty good.
If we only had a 22nd month, it'd be perfect.
Smart.
A 22nd month with 22 days. Perfect, right?
So I gotta ask, it's like 16 degrees here. People in Montana
Yeah.
are at like negative 30. Where's Colorado today?
Colorado currently, right now, looking at the annoying Apple Watch, negative 12 currently.
Damn.
Negative 12.
I thought 16 was bad, but negatives in Colorado. Damn it, that's cold.
Yeah. And Dean and I decided we would go out last night at the start of this. Basically, we left the house as the front was moving in. Sorry, I'm wiping my nose as I talk.
It's a very hygienic thing for you to do. It's fine.
That's right, exactly. Oh, here, let me use some hand sanitizer on my hands while I... Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Anyway, we went to... we left the house, and it was 41 degrees last night at about 4:30. We went to this thing called Camp Christmas.
Or as I call it, a Tool video set. That's what it looked like.
At least that first one. Actually, a couple of parts of it looked like a Tool video.
Or like some scene in Resident Evil 8 or something. It was like horrifying. Some of that stuff.
It was horrible. So it's intended to be like they bill it as the quirkiest Christmas thing you'll go to.
Right.
And it absolutely is. And I took pictures of I posted pictures of the more nightmare-inducing parts of it. There's a reindeer in a room with a disco ball, and it's got those spikes on it that like you put on the sides of buildings to keep pigeons from landing.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a picture of a weird, like, smiling boy running the
Like a candy store kid.
running a candy store, actually a diner. Yeah,
Oh, it's a diner. Okay, I
it's a
saw
diner.
the
And he just
donuts
sways
behind
back
him.
and forth with his mouth wide open, like
He's holding one of those huge suckers you used to get when you were kids, the big round
exactly. Yep.
deals.
And then an owl that is full of fire. Like it's an owl that is made of steel and fire.
Oh, that reminds me of the big Vegas praying mantis outside of the container park.
Oh yeah, very much so, like Container Park praying mantis. Yeah, for
totally
sure.
having that vibe here. So was this all just like a big art installation? It sounds like, or
Sort of, yeah. It's like it's an outdoor thing at Belmar Park, and it's called Camp Christmas, and those are kind of the weirdest parts. Although there is a whole room you go through that's got mannequins with weird Christmas hats, like a giant coffee cake, and another one that's got like a bunch of Christmas trees, and that one's because the lighting in there is like all weird pink floor lighting pointing up.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of creepy in and of itself as well.
Wow.
But there's other things in there, like basically they've got 30 Christmas trees all staggered around the place that are pun trees.
Okay.
Pun Christmas trees. So you have to look at them and try and figure out what the pun is. And there's a little QR code if you give up, and you can then figure out. But there's one that's got a bunch of pictures of Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump, different photos of him hanging as ornaments.
Okay.
And that is a forest tree.
Really? I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Forrest Gump tree.
Forest
I get it.
tree.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I get it. That's good.
The my favorite was the one that had little Roger Rabbits and then little paper dolls of people like James Bond and old cowboy dude. Shoot, can't remember his name. Not John Wayne, but like one of those Roy Rogers and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And that was a Roger doll tree.
Oh my!
It was like
Lord.
Roger Moore and Roy Rogers and Roger Rabbit, and they were all dolls, and it's a Roger doll tree.
That they went far for that one.
They went far, and I liked that one. That one was fantastic.
That's great. Yeah.
So there are 30 of them around there. It's awesome. So
That's cool, man.
yeah,
I would go to this.
Then there was like a I should send you the video of this, like a thing you sit down and it sprays guilt remover on you, and then there's like a guilt remover. It's like it looks like a Windex bottle, but it says guilt remover on it, and it just shoots like smoke at you. It's not shooting any sort of spray, which would have sucked in the at that point 11-degree weather we were out in walking through this thing.
Yeah, you don't want that. Oh,
No.
It was already 11 last night.
It was already 11. It went from 41 when we left the house at 4:30. By the time we got there at about 5:15, 5:30, it had already dropped down to 11 degrees. It was like that quick a drop in temperature.
They were reporting this in Wyoming. I guess it dropped as quickly as like 7 minutes or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Went from the 40s to the negatives.
As much as my little sciatica would allow, we kind of sprinted through that place. And we would have waited, obviously, if tomorrow or Saturday weren't the last day and we have stuff going on. But I'm like, oh, I really want to see this. Let's get tickets. Yeah, I know we're going on a day when it's supposed to drop before the big temperature drop day, which is today. But
yeah. No,
anyway,
I guess 11's better than a negative 13, but not much.
Not much better. It does, it doesn't. Once you get down below a certain number, 11 and negative 11 feel pretty dang close to each other.
Well, it's funny you say that because I have a connected story that happened to me last night.
Oh, excellent. Let's hear about it.
I took my niece and nephew, Kim and I took our niece and nephew who've been home alone while their parents are in Mississippi until they're home now. But anyway, we took them out to dinner and we decided to take them to
nice.
Tony Burger, this place we really like that makes these amazing burgers, and they're close by, and it looked like it was going to snow, so we're like, we don't go too far. And
Say
blah, blah,
Tony
blah.
Burger?
Tony Burger, it's called.
Tony Burger. Okay. All right.
And it's very good. It's kind of a staple in this. It's the local deal. I don't think they're anywhere else.
Nice.
Anyway, they got like 3 locations. So we went to the one near us. Great as usual. Love their stuff. We sit down. We're hanging out. We're talking. And right in the middle of all this, I hear a guy at another table go. And I'm not making this accent up. This is the accent. All right?
Okay.
He goes,
All right.
You hear about that temp drop in Wyoming? I have a hunch it's aliens. And he said it in a way when I went, okay, is he joking?
Right. You have to look over and see the expression on his face. Is he like, he's like, I hear it's aliens.
Yeah, I got a hunch it's aliens. And he was dead serious and then went on to explain why he thinks it's aliens, because ain't no time in history a temperature dropping 8 minutes that far. There's no way this is just natural occurrence. And just went on and on and on. And, the other thing I was going to say about him is he had on a hat. I always complain about hats are too small for me. They don't fit me very well.
Yeah.
Once in a while, like these Under Armour ones do, and that's about all I can buy anymore. This was a guy like me with a big dumb head, but he didn't care that the hat didn't fit him. He's wearing one of those trucker hats that is literally just sitting up there.
Just resting on the top. Well, okay, so kind of like this, right? Like
a bit like that.
like that,
A bit
basically?
like that, except that's stylish at least, right?
I think so.
That has some
the
like
AI generator felt like it was stylish.
there was at least a little panache there. This guy's was like, if he turned to the right, the hat was going to stay in the same direction, just like stay there. Anyway, he was sure it was,
Like the hat would stay
and he was talking to some other dude who was all hunched over in a camo jacket looking all skeevy, and they were just going on and on about how this proves aliens. There's no way this, finally we have some definitive proof because of this weather thing. And I'm like, man, take you 2 seconds to Google fastest temperature change in North America,
Right,
and I'll
right,
bet we're not. I
exactly.
bet we're not even there yet. So
We just had such an a new crop of scientists that have just totally joined the population in the last few years. That it just amazes me that we had all these secret scientists who are now coming out of the woodwork.
I know they've been hiding it. Like this guy during the day is a sanitation worker, and that's his cover.
Hey, let's not rip on sanitation.
No, not
workers,
at all. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
I love them. We gave them gifts this year, but that's the cover.
Clearly, this guy is not a lawyer. Like,
No.
he did not pass the bar. Or
No,
anything like that.
no. But he is hiding successfully as a scientist under wraps. And
Yes.
last
Yes,
night he
exactly.
let a little bit of it leak, and I overheard it. And now I understand that
If only
aliens
there
are
was a
responsible.
way-
Yeah.
We're smart people, Scott. If only there was a way that we could figure out to make some money and take advantage of people like this. And
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
I don't know, like come up with a set of digital NFT cards that they could buy.
yeah, really bad
Never
ones.
mind. I guess we already have somebody doing that, don't we?
No, that'd be
never
great.
mind, I guess.
No, that'd be great. We could say, hey, don't, boy, this economy, the inflation
That's
and the
right.
gas prices are so bad. Whoa, $100 for not even one I get to choose, but it's random, and I don't even know how to get it once I
Exactly.
pay for it, and I could have screen grabbed it and gotten the same thing. Oh my gosh.
You can't say thanks Biden to that one, can you?
No.
Thanks
No.
Biden.
Someone in the chat says, sell some bathwater. All right, let's get that going.
All right, cool.
Remember, we talked about that girl.
I'd have to take a bath to do that.
I think she's still doing that. The girl
I'm
that
sure
was.
she is.
Yeah, that was.
Bathwater, and then we have the under boob sweat.
Oh,
girls,
that
she-
one fouls me out. I can't. At least bathwater is mostly water. I mean, I wouldn't want it. I don't want to pay for it.
They're both at. See, this is where the 11 degrees and negative 11 degrees
We're already
comes
there.
back into play. That's where we're at. The
No, you're not
bathwater and
wrong.
the under boob sweat are basically the 11 and the negative 11 degrees, where I can't tell the difference.
The value the value of the tub water would be it has the boob sweat in it. It's just now it's watered down, right?
Sure.
So
sure.
if you're getting concentrated straight from the source boob sweat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you doing with any of this?
I don't know why
like,
exactly.
It's like whoever buys one is not going to care. Well, it's watered down.
Yeah,
it's not as good.
It's
I
only
wish it was more concentrated.
it's only $8 an ounce. I want to pay 25
Yeah, exactly.
for the real stuff. I don't know why that accent is on that guy too. But there
Listen,
it is.
when we're in Vegas, we'll you and I will get into the Plaza hot tub
Okay.
together.
All right, I'm ready.
And then when we're done, we'll bottle up all that water and we'll sell it for TMS co-host, like host water, right? Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
And we'll just even
Yeah.
like a Dasani bottle full or something, nothing crazy.
yeah, exactly. We can actually sell them right there at the event.
Yeah.
Probably.
Claire will be there. She'll buy it.
I'll take a gin and hot tub water, please.
More gin though than normal. Put as much in there as you can put.
Oh, this is watered down. Oh.
It's not the same.
I was really hoping for some. Never mind.
Well, there you go. Oh, I see what you mean. I see where you're going. Hey, a quick note. This is a technical note. I hope this helps a few people because there's been slight confusion. Nothing too crazy. But if you're using some kind of ancient podcatcher software, something real old and not supported anymore, just be aware that the feeds might be a little wonky for you because I changed hosts. And while anybody using anything modern will have no problem, it'll all be automatic. Everything's being redirected properly through the internet, through proper protocols and all that. But the moving of RSS feeds can be a little fruity sometimes, and especially over the first 24 hours or so. So if you've had issues and you're like, I don't see the show, or why is it not on the feed? It'll be there. Just give it a sec. Some of these caches have to clear. I've tested everything, and it's all working, I think. This was a major stressful thing for me over the last couple of weeks trying to get this done.
I'm sure.
Now that it's all done, TMS and everything else should be flowing to whoever gets it. We're speaking audio here, so if you're getting, if you're already doing video stuff, none of that's changed. But the audio version of the show, which is 99% of you, should be showing up in your players. Like if you're using Overcast or freaking Pocket Cast, Downcast, any of those podcast apps, whatever Android thing you may be using. Google Podcast's been a little weird, but it's always weird. The thing is kind of garbage. I wish Google would update it. It's just not good. But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff is all tested here and worked. So if you have any problems, just poke me and let me know. I'm happy to dig into it and see if there's something weird. Like somebody yesterday said, hey, the mega feed where I put everything on, like every show gets put on the mega feed. Some people listen that way. And the guy's like, hey, that didn't show up on the mega feed. And I went, oh, yeah, the mega feed. I totally forgot about the mega feed. So I fixed the mega feed yesterday, and it is also working now. So as far as I know, I have covered all my dumb bases, and everything's good. Okay? I don't have a team of 50 people working on this. I got me.
No. Got you.
I got me. You got me, babe. Anyway,
Cool.
as Cher once said, you've got me. All right, there's that. Hey, there's some birthdays. Who's having birthdays?
Yeah. Chloe, the wife of Burnanate, celebrating her birthday. Today is the day that she was born, is the way that he phrased it. And she lets him hang out here in chat all the time. So happy birthday to Chloe, wife of Burnanate.
Nice. Chat says, I thought Frog Pants was a big conglomerate. I wish. I'm too much of a control freak. I don't ever let people do anything. But
that works. You know what? That works both to your success and I don't want to say failure, but your success and your stress level, right?
Oh yeah,
it's like
100%.
Because I've said, hey, let me take this on for you. Can I take this on for you? And it's a struggle sometimes to say to pull stuff away.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's weird because part of it is, I think I had some PTSD from like partnerships. This isn't to say that you're a problem, not at all.
Of course. No,
yeah, not even remotely. But like my dad had partnerships that completely screwed up everything, made him have to go bankrupt at one point. I worked for a guy who owes me $89,000, still does. I'm never going to see that money. Like I always feel like if I can pull off a lot of this myself, then I don't have to think about or worry about any of those issues. But Brian's absolutely right. It's like stress ball McGee over here sometimes. And
I get it. Like I basically had to say, dude, I'm taking over TMS Vegas. I'm doing all the scheduling and all that stuff. And
And I'm really glad you did because it's great. I love what you do with it. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on talking about this, and we'll just talk about it for a second, but just to get the idea, get that thing rolling in your head that for ideas. Obviously, too late for 2023, but a thing to think about for 2024. HyperX Sports Arena, the new catering manager, events planner manager. I think that's who she is. She's an events planning manager. Emailed me yesterday and said, "Hey, we would love to have you back.
Really?
Let us know what you'd like to do here."
Yeah.
But how cool would it be? Listen, I love the Plaza and I love Bernadette and all the stuff that they've done for us at the Plaza. But if we could do a stay at the Luxor, nobody has to drive anywhere, Uber, blah blah blah. It's all there in one place. Restaurants, bars, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We do one TMS Vegas there. We do some big thing at the HyperX Sports Arena that's not just a video game tournament, but also a live TMS.
It sounds like they'd be willing to let us do something weird, you know? I'd be into that. Yeah, hell yeah.
I was almost going to propose, hey, can we do a Marvel Snap tournament there on the big screen? Could we?
Not?
Could we?
Why not? I mean, you could. I don't know why you couldn't. I mean, by then the
So
PC
cool.
version will be out. So
No kidding. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so too short notice for us to do anything for 2023. Plus, we've got the Sand Dollar right there at the Plaza. I can't wait to hang out there with everybody, do our live show there.
Oh yeah, we're good for this year. But yeah, I love that idea, especially if they're willing to work with us and do something cool. And it isn't just pay us $5,000 and rent it. That's all. Bye.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not saying they would, but maybe they.
No, I think that is what it would be. I think it would be probably something along those lines. I'll say.
Yeah. That's possible. But if we work everything around it, it might work.
Right.
That might work fine.
Yeah, exactly. If like, the prices and stuff like that. We can figure it out. Anyway,
I agree. And also
get the thought train, the idea train rolling for us. And
that's right. All aboard, everybody. All aboard.
that's right. Exactly.
Next week a little bit, and also obviously after the first of the year, we'll be locking down swag and ticket stuff for this year. So watch for that coming soon. We'll have more soon. All right?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Cool.
And Claire will be there. All right. Let's get Amy
There's
in.
that.
We got to get Amy in. Apparently, so I'm. Let's see here. I guess Chuck's having some surgery this morning.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you know? I guess are we not meant to know? I don't.
We don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's okay that we don't know. I just worried because I didn't know it was happening. And she says, "Hey, if I don't answer right away, just text me and let me know, and I'll step outside."
She asked me to just ping her in chat or ping her in text.
Oh, that's
when
good.
we were getting ready to pull her in, so I did that while we were just wrapping up.
Okay, awesome. Hopefully he's good. Whatever's going on.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was.
We'll see if she wants to say any more than that.
A little back-to-back surgery going on here at the
Exactly.
Red Fraggle House. Yeah. Let's see. No answer yet.
At Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see. No answer. Oh, there she is. Hi. Is this you?
Hi, it's me.
Oh, good.
Is this you?
Is this you? I guess that's a weird way to do that. It's Amy who stepped out into the hallway of some sort of medical establishment. Hi, Amy. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, I am doing well. How are you guys doing
Good.
today?
We're good.
Good. How's Chuck? He's good? All good?
Yeah, he's fine. He's sitting back there in the prep area still, and so I came like just scooting out, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. In the waiting area, there's like a door to go outside right there, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I'll just pop right out there, and then I'm standing in front of the door, and I'm waiting for it to slide. And it doesn't work.
Uh-oh.
And then the receptionist behind me says, yeah, it doesn't work. It's basically a big window. And I was like, okay.
Like you're just invisible to this thing, invisible to its invisible eye. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he's so is it weird to do back-to-back surgeries like this? Like you're just barely over your thing, and now he's got to go right in there. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. Yeah.
It is a little weird. It was like, because I've kind of deferred to him on doing a bunch of stuff like, taking the dogs out and things like that. And then now all of a sudden that's going to be my job and he's going to defer to me. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit wonky, but
yeah, you guys really, who scheduled theirs first?
he did.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So mine was originally going to happen like probably the 1st of next year, like maybe February or so.
Yeah.
But then they had a cancellation and they said, hey, we can do it on December 5th. And I said, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
somebody's
sense.
uterus had to wait a little longer. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't ripe or something.
No, you
Right,
can't pick them
exactly,
before
yeah.
they're ready. Absolutely.
Not fully baked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stick a toothpick in. If it doesn't come out clean, then it's got to go back in.
Yeah, you use one of those
Right.
turkey popper things you stick in there, and it'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Just like when your belly button pops out.
Yeah.
It's
you
done.
know
Yeah,
it's
that's
done.
when you know.
Exactly.
Well, it's good to have you here. We're going to do a read this with Amy anyway. We were supposed to open some gifts Amy sent, but mine is still under a giant pile of unsorted mail at my P.O. box, and I don't know what's going on over there. I'm going over there today to see what's going on.
Worst P.O. box ever, if you ask me.
I agree. I don't know if they just got overwhelmed. Or they're a little mom and pop kind of run franchise, and I don't know if they just got overwhelmed this year. I don't know what's going on. That's why I got to go over there and see what's up, because they definitely got the package. It's just they don't have it to hand to me, and I don't know why that is. So we figured we'd do this today anyway, and then next week, Monday, if it's here, we'll pull Amy in for a quick gift exchange opening deal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
get a bonus little bit of me.
Yeah, a bit
That'll
of
be
bonus
good.
you. Yep, bonus you. Excellent. Well, let's get to the read this for the week. You sent me a clip here. Do you want to set this up before I play it?
Sure. So this is a very timely seasonal classic of a thing, and that most people I don't think have seen or read.
Cool.
But it's still amazingly charming and timely. So that's what I'll say about it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, here is the clip.
Wings, Mr. Santa Claus. I need new wings. Not fancy wings, Just plain Jane, low rent, barely bent, homegrown, bare bone, off the shelf, two-part Kmart, no frills flappers. They would be an improvement over my own. As your record should show, I am a bird. Specifically, a penguin. An embarrassing accident of birth, for which I do not blame my mother. I prefer to blame Congress.
Wow. I don't know what this is.
It's Fight Club, right? I think it's Fight Club. The penguin was the giveaway right there.
Right, yeah. So this is the audio clip was actually taken from the animated TV special that they did for the book by Berkeley Breathed, who, if that name sounds familiar, it's Bloom County.
Sure.
Yeah. Is
And
that Opus?
that was Opus the Penguin.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the name of it is A Wish for Wings That Work. And
oh, wow. Okay. This is old. Yeah, this is.
yes.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's very old. And in fact, I apologize to everyone a little bit because it's actually out of print. But you can still get it. You can.
Yeah.
If you know the right source, you can get anything today.
Exactly. And it is lovely and charming. It's a fun thing to consume with your kids. And the audio there, like I said, is from the animated special. And
I had no idea there was an animated
I didn't
special.
either. Never heard of that.
Oh, yeah, I had never heard of it either. And Chuck has the DVD, and we watch it every year. And it's Robin Williams is in it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's
really?
bananas.
Oh, please tell me he doesn't Bill the Cat.
Yeah.
No, like Bill the Cat actually doesn't really speak. Although I think Frank Welker probably does some voice work for him.
All Bill the Cat has to say is act.
Yeah,
that's
true. He does do some hacking up of things, but yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, like he's like a little small part in there, and you can easily hear that it's Robin Williams when it gets to that point. But yeah, it's bonkers. I was like, I've never heard of this, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I mean, if you Google it, you can find. I mean, people have put it up on YouTube and not gotten a strike for it, so you can literally go watch it on YouTube. It's adorable and charming and fun and everything you want in Bloom County. And yeah, so that's my little recommendation for right here, right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
yeah, love it. So
reading
probably
her-
can find that on YouTube, and at least the animated thing I'm sure is on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, if you go to like Amazon or probably Barnes and Noble or some other bookseller, you can probably find used copies of the book as well. And I mean, like I say, it's everything you want from a Berkeley Breathed property,
Yeah. I just noticed iCore has the link, so I've pinned
there it
it
is right there.
pinned it to the chat for those in Twitch, and you can grab that for the next 10 minutes or so. It'll just be up there.
Cool.
Start to
Very
use
cool.
this cool new pin feature. Well, that's awesome, and I didn't even know it existed. Neither did Brian. I don't know why I'd never heard of this. I feel like it's. I mean, how old is this? Let's see, 91.
Yeah, I mean, it's old. It's like it's in. I mean, obviously it was when Robin Williams was still with us.
Yeah.
And we don't even have the Blu-ray of it. We have the DVD, so we have to. It has to. When we watch it, it looks crappy, but.
Yeah, I wonder.
But we still love it.
I wonder if it's like, I don't know what this reminds me of. Kind of like that Olive the Other Reindeer.
Oh yeah,
movie.
It's funny because that just came up in trivia the other night.
Oh, did it? That's a great little movie.
We had to. Is it?
Yeah.
We came up like what Christmas film features Drew Barrymore doing the voice of the title character, and one of the people. The Jeopardy winner in our group, the Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire contestant in our group said, I think that's All of the Other Reindeer. And she said, as a Jack Russell Terrier, the clue or the question was.
Oh, right.
And she said, I think that's All of the Other Reindeer. And I said, no, this is about a reindeer.
Yeah.
Lori, come on.
Yeah.
But sure enough,
they were right.
Exactly what it was. And fortunately, she she corrected me and said, "No, I'm pretty sure this is what it is."
No, good. I'm glad she prevailed. It's a very cool movie, and it reminds me of this in the sense that it's so obscure now. No, hardly anybody's heard of it. And
I didn't know about it either.
Oh, you should see it. It's
I
wonderful.
hadn't heard of it. Yeah.
Wonderful thing.
Well,
It's hard, but it's hard to
we did a little
find.
marathon of Christmassy watching last night, and I finally got around to watching Klaus.
Oh, it's
which
great.
is
I know I need to see that.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
That thing's on
it's
perpetual
so
replay at my
charming.
at Van's house. They just watch it all the time. They love it. Yeah, it's really good. See, I can't even find all of the other reindeer on even Just Watch. Like it's like it doesn't exist. I know it does. It's on IMDb, of course. But it's like this in that nobody can get
enough.
it. So
not even a mention of it. Huh.
Yeah, which is why I love this kind of stuff.
It's kind of weird. Like I tried to see. I thought Chuck said we had a copy of the book, but unfortunately, no. We have the Last Baslope, but we don't have Wish for Wings that work. And so then I went on Amazon to see. I was like, okay, maybe I can get like a PDF copy of it or something, so that I at least have the book to be talking about it. Nope, can't find it. But I mean, like I say, you can order it used, but it would be here sometime next month.
Sure.
And I wanted to talk about it for Christmas.
Yeah.
No, perfect.
I forgot to mention that's a Matt Groening joint. All of the other reindeer was a.
Oh wow!
He produced it and I think wrote it. Let's see. He
really
stars. Let's see. I guess he just executive produced it, but that's cool. And it's got a bunch of people from The Simpsons on it, like Dan Castellaneta is in it. Joey Pants is in it, Brian. He's great.
Love Joey Pants.
Peter McNichol, Ed Asner, Tim Meadows, Jay Moore, Michael Stipe. Michael Stipe. Yeah.
It's random.
David Herman, Dietrich Bader. It's awesome. I hate that. I'm not trying to hijack your thing, I promise, but it just made me remind me how awesome all of the other reindeer is. It's really good.
No, that's great. That's why I love this segment, man. I mean, hi, I'm familiar with y'all. I listen to Film Sack. Y'all talk about movie like this. I think this is also part of why, not because you've done so many movies, although that's part of it, but also because you guys talk about like 16 movies in one episode because you're going off on tangents, and it's great.
Yeah,
that's what makes y'all. That's that's
people,
the sauce.
People like
the what is it? The spice of the soup.
The spice of the soup, the sauce of the monkey, or the I don't know what to call it. I didn't know this. I guess this all of the other reindeer is based on a book, so I didn't know that. But anyway, it's rad, and also it's all entirely on YouTube. iCore found it.
Based on the book, but also like sponsored by Target or somebody Kohl's or something like that.
Really?
I want to say there was like a some sort of retail connection with all of the other reindeer.
I bet the year it came out there was tons of merch.
I think so. Yeah.
Very strange art style too. I love it.
I know. I love that. That's cool.
Totally worth seeing if you get a minute. And also, it sounds like this is too. You know what? We should put both those links. Those YouTube links in
quick TMS.
Quick TMS, yeah. Just like the one for hers and then this olive one. I think it'd be good.
I will do that right now because it's it is a read this segment. And I forgot to do that, so thanks for the reminder. I've been here the last couple Thursdays, so
I keep hearing that animated Scrooge, that's the new one on Netflix, the Netflix original one that just came out in December.
Benicio del Toro or Guillermo del Toro's.
Man, is he doing everything now? I'd love that.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Christmas Carol.
Luke Evans as Ebenezer Scrooge.
This is my story of Christmas Carol. It is three ghosts come and kill Scrooge and dismember him and use his body parts for tinsel.
That's right.
Too much hassle. You want coal? Too much hassle.
Listen to this. Olivia Colman plays the ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, really?
Okay. See? I might have to watch that.
She can do no wrong.
That's true. Well, all right. This is great. Everybody go check that stuff out. In the meantime, follow Amy wherever you find her, Red Fraggle 3. And also, I hope Chuck gets through whatever this is quickly and everything's okay.
Yeah.
And I think he will. It's like I say, it's just a thing that's been a nuisance for him for a while. And particularly as somebody who rides a bike.
I was going to say, nobody
gotcha.
should have to live their whole life with 3 testicles. I'm telling you, 2 is enough. So Chuck finally deciding to remove that third middle one, not a problem. He should do it.
Okay. So now you said the thing. So now I have to kind of tell you, it's not. He doesn't have a third testicle, but what is being removed is he has a large cyst on his right testicle, and that's what's getting removed.
Oh, well then I was close. I was right in the zone there.
You were pretty close there.
Very
Yeah.
much in the zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good.
I did get permission from him to say that, by the way.
Yeah,
I asked him this morning. I was like, how much or little do you want me to share on the show? And he's like, whatever's funny. And I said, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's our rule around here. Whatever's funny. Yeah.
Cysticles never go out of style as far as comedy.
Well, I hope that
Brian, as a cyclist, you can imagine that if you have a large cyst right there trying to ride your bike for like 50 miles, not fun.
No,
right?
No, not fun at all.
Definitely not.
I'm trying to think of any.
I already have to swing those over my shoulder just to ride a bike, let alone I can't imagine a cyst on them. Jeez.
Like a Continental Soldier. Is that what you do?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Well, tell him quick recovery. I hope it goes easy and well. That he's not. I don't want him to be awake during it because it'd be like burning and all that. You don't want that.
Oh no. He's gonna be under general. That's why I'm hanging out here.
All right.
So
that's good. But he'll do fine. And Merry Christmas to him and you. And we will see you hopefully on Monday with a package opening.
Cool. All right.
Bye, Amy. Geez. I know, right? Stupid freaking
I'm
P.O.
opening
box.
mine either way, basically.
What I should have done is just given her my home address because she doesn't need to go through there.
It's almost like you don't trust her or something.
I know. Like had I known, I would have absolutely done that. But I haven't had this problem before, and I have to think this is some Christmas thing. I don't know. Because that place is on fire right now. Apparently, it's just.
I'm sure. It's just that they're mom and pop place. Oh, what are we doing? We got all these boxes here.
What are we gonna
just
do?
all of a sudden I'm done.
Oh no, Andy!
Andy, what am I doing with all these boxes?
Jack Tripper's got 4 girls in there. I just know it.
I'm gonna go down to the Regal Beagle. I'm gonna catch him this time.
Is that the name of the place, the Regal Beagle?
Yeah, it's the Regal Beagle.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. All right. It's time for the news. It's time for the news, and it's brought to you by
Coverville. Yes, we are doing the Coverville Countdown, counting down the 40 greatest covers of 2022, culled together from over 360 different cover songs that came out this year that I have in my list, let alone the stuff that I don't have in my list. But guess what? This takes a little bit longer than I expected when I'm not able to sit in front of my computer for long periods of time because of the sciatica. So, episode 1 won't be today, but it will be tomorrow or Saturday. Which is good because I think Scott's going to have plenty of content for you to watch today between Core and Play Retro.
Yeah,
right?
We got a lot tonight. Play Retro at 2:30, Core at 5. There's plenty of content tonight. Trust me.
Yeah, it would have. People would have been struggling to do I watch? Do I listen to the Coverville Countdown? Do I listen to Play Retro? So now they don't have to worry about that, and they get extra code. They get extra content tomorrow.
You want the extra code? I give you an extra code. You need it? Yeah. I give you code.
It's like combining Core and Coverville and something. You want the code? I give you code. You want the code?
Chuck's Chode. All those things together.
Chode, right, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. I always look forward to the countdown. So watch for that, everybody. A couple quick stories here.
Without a Disturbed song this year, I don't know what's going to be in the top 5. I really don't know.
There is no Disturbed song this year.
No Disturbed cover. They put out an album this year.
Didn't put a cover on it.
The first one in a long time, and no cover on it.
Yeah, I have a renewed respect for the singer. He's like, he does a TikTok channel where he answers emails. Seems like a really nice guy.
Really? That's cool.
Like a legit dude who's just like talking to fans.
I'm going to answer another email.
Ha! Or whatever he'll say.
Right, exactly.
Here is your news story to start with. Edie Falco, famous for being Tony Soprano's wife.
Camilla,
Gabagool, and all that.
About a big Camilla.
She was also Nurse Jackie and a million other things, and she's always a favorite. People love her and give her Emmys, shower her with Emmys every time she does anything. Well, anyway, she's in Avatar 2 and the Way of the Water.
Okay.
Yeah, and apparently she shot Avatar 2 so long ago, her parts in it, that she thought it already got released and flopped.
Well, I didn't see anything about it in the newspaper, so it must have flopped.
Yeah, she just didn't read a thing about it, but it turns out it came out just now and is doing really well, Edie. But this is a nice little surprise. It says one of the more delightful surprises in Avatar: The Way of the Water is that when Edie Falco pops up as General Francis Ardmore, a new military commander on Pandora. Ardmore's.
Thanks, Variety. Now, that's not one of the more delightful surprises for anybody else.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, Variety just spoiled it. Those jerks.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even realize that as I was reading it. It says she makes, she's on a mission to make Pandora hospitable for the human race, as Earth is dying and the human population will soon need a permanent home. Falco was not prominently featured in any marketing material, so you'd be forgiven for not knowing that the 4-time Emmy winner was playing a crucial role in the Avatar franchise. She herself didn't even know when the release plans were. During a release or an interview with ABC's The View, it's with all those ladies on The View.
Yeah, Whoopi and Joy Behar, and then the revolving door of the two other chairs.
Yeah,
basically.
those other chairs that are always somebody new. But it's just full of ladies, that place. Falco revealed she shot her scenes in Avatar: The Way of the Water over 4 years ago. Wow. So much time went by between that and its release that she simply assumed the movie opened in theaters already and didn't perform very well, which is probably what a lot of actors do. Once they're done, they're done. It's like, move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're not going to sit around waiting for releases and stuff like that. Maybe premieres, but if you're a smaller part, maybe you don't. I don't know.
If you're a smaller part, probably not, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure Bill Murray in, what is he? He's in Quantumania.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the trailer for that. I'm sure it's like, come in, do his stuff, and then just get out. Basically.
Yeah, and he probably did that a year or two ago.
Yeah,
and I doubt he's paying any attention, but who knows? Says,
oh my God, we're just a little over a month away from that.
I know.
God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
So little time for you to finally watch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm going to carve out 90 minutes between 2 hours, whatever it is, between now and then. Yeah. And I'm gonna be ready, Brian. Ready.
Okay. If we have to, we could watch it as a couch party. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying maybe we should.
Maybe
you know what else we should do? Or what? Well, okay. So I guess Top Gun hits today. Is the Top Gun Maverick deal?
Yeah.
I need to finally see if that was all the hype was real, because people lost their minds about that movie last year, and it's the second. Oh no, did it beat Avengers Endgame finally? I think it might have.
I don't know. Did it?
I think it might be the highest grossing. If not, it's the second highest grossing film of all time.
Oh wow!
And people loved it, like raving about that damn thing.
I can tell you, it's the Force Awakens to A New Hope.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
In that it's just like, hey, we're going to do a lot of that template again?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay. But.
Yeah.
Trying to think how to justify that. Yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just overly curious because everybody was losing their minds. Like right now, here's the top list. Let me just make sure I have this right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's not correct. Okay, here it is.
Avatar. I was gonna say
Avatar 2.847 billion for Avatar 2009. Yep. 2.798 billion for Endgame, so it's still there.
Yep.
Titanic's still there at 2.202. So where's this new one? Oh, they don't have it on this list. Hold on.
Oh, new one is number 11. I can tell you. I've got the full top 20.
Oh,
top
yeah. You're right. Here. There it is, number 11.
Yep, number 11, 1.4 million. Yeah. Let's see. It's all right.
It's all right. It's a lot of hype.
Right.
I mean, that's a big position for any movie to be in, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't even call it my one of my 10 favorite movies I saw this year.
Wow.
It was all right. But it was...
But not even in your top 10.
Not even my top 10.
Not even hot dudes playing volleyball with their shirts off? That didn't do it for you?
Oh, this time it's soccer.
Oh.
Scott, they have to... The template They had to change that bit of the template for this movie.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, when you first see Goose's its official cover bill doesn't like fun. No, shut up, Wes.
Wait, so because you got Goose Jr. right with the mustache.
Yeah,
in there.
and when his introduction is like, oh God, really, this is how we get introduced to Goose's son.
Really.
Winmagus, Everything Everywhere All at Once would probably be in my top 10, maybe like 7 or 8 probably. RRR would be in there, maybe middle of the top 10.
What's your number 1 right now?
See, I don't know. I'd have to really give it some thought.
It's hard for me too. I can't think of one. All I can think about is Barbarian because I loved it so much. But
Barbarian was really good. Yeah, Glass Onion comes out tomorrow. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, you got the Glass Onion. I have a feeling that I'm going to really like Del Toro's Pinocchio, but I got to wait for Carter to get home. I promised her.
Sweet.
Well, we tried to watch it remotely, but her internet sucked, and so we couldn't do it. So
yeah, I can tell you that Black Adam, which I finished last night, is nowhere in my top 10, 20, 30, or 40, or 50, or 60, or anywhere.
Damn, that high.
Oh God, it was
pretty bad. Yeah,
Yeah, and not because of The Rock. The Rock was what made that enjoyable.
You can smell what he's cooking in that.
You can smell it, see it, taste it.
Yeah. And you're kind of okay with what you're smelling and tasting. It's okay.
I'm okay with what I'm smelling, and I'm kind of like, I guess it would have been nice to have a sequel. Well,
he claims James Gunn promised him that we're not done with Black Adam. So whatever that means.
Okay, well, we might not be done with Black Adam, but I think we're done with The Rock.
Yeah.
I think it's the same. We're not done with Superman, but we're done with Henry Cavill.
Well, yeah, that's true. But he claims that he was told by James Gunn that he promised he meaning The Rock would be back.
Sure.
But they didn't know when. So
here's the question. Because the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, the spin-off show, were James Gunn deals.
They were James Gunn deals.
Are they going to be part of this reboot that we get for DC, for the DCU?
I would guess, if I had to guess, they're going to be like Iron Man in that was the first stab at the new idea, and then they'll just keep them around.
It will be part of the...
I mean, I don't have confirmation on that. I'm just guessing here because they were both very successful, both critically and audience-wise. I have a feeling they'd keep that. I'd be surprised. Let's put it that way. If they didn't, if they just said, that's all done, I would be shocked by that. Right. And I'm also not 100% sure that they're going to redo or toss Shazam, because I think Shazam worked too. It was MCU
I think so too. It's I think the Suicide Squad is probably my favorite of the DC films.
I love that movie.
Shazam is...
Yeah, it was great.
Shazam is up there.
I love the 2021 Batman. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was that this year? No, last year.
Is that lore?
I don't know.
Because it's so separate from everything. I know we do get a frickin' Bruce Wayne in the alley with the pearls dropping and all that stuff, but yeah,
I really liked it. So I hope that they're not done with that yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so too. By the way, I would put Prey and Nope somewhere in my top, certainly my top 20, maybe not top 10, but Prey maybe would make it in my top 10. I thought that was really good.
Oh, Prey's awesome. Yeah. For a minute I was like,
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Still haven't seen it. They didn't do that well, did it? It was okay, right?
It was okay. Yeah. Again, I think Wakanda Forever would be higher for me than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange.
The movie I'm blown away by. I'm not surprised that things like, Glass Onion are getting really good reviews. This new Living movie. It's Oscar era time, right? So you expect big movies that are really well made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what I'm surprised by, what came out of left field for me, is this Puss in Boots sequel.
Oh, yeah.
is currently at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 95% audience score, and everything I read is just like a glowing, can't believe how great this is thing. I'm like, are you kidding? A Shrek spin-off sequel?
Right, exactly. Yes.
How is this even possible? But apparently it's like rad. So
yeah,
kind of want to see it now.
Yep.
It's got your Antonio Banderas, your Selma Hayek, your Olivia Colman. There she is again.
There she is again. Yeah,
Harvey Gillian from What We Do in the Shadows. And then other people I don't know. Yeah.
She's got a good agent, that Olivia Colman.
Yep. She's in her stove fortune just helps pay for it all, all those Coleman stoves that they sell. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, my sister Wendi will join us, and we're going to tackle an email from a listener that is an interesting one, and we'll get to all that in a minute. But before we do, a song break with Brian Ibbett.
Right on. Yeah, we got to listen to a song by Jake Thistle. Thistle. As in, this will really entertain you.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Let's see, where is this? He's an instrumentalist, but he's got mesmerizing, as they put here, mesmerizing stage presence, a buttery rasp, insightful lyrics, and superb instrumentation. Jake Thistle is poised to become one of next year's rising stars. So those of you who say, hey, Brian, you don't play enough like country, and you know my feelings on country. I'm not a big fan of new country music. Kind of don't like it, with the exception of folks like Sturgill Simpson and bluegrass and stuff like that. This I like. This I like a lot. This is Jake Thistle. Brand new single is called "Ghosted Road." Enjoy it. Here's Jake Thistle.
Whammy wham wham wazzle! Lay some skin on me, dudes!
Stop scrolling if you hate taking medications.
The Morning Stream. The most amazing tale ever.
And we're back. Tell me who that was again.
That was Jake Thistle, Scott. A brand new single that he released called Ghosted Road. Check it out today.
Nice. Ghosted Road. Something familiar about that name. I don't know why.
Mad
Ghosted Road.
Jake Ghosted Road.
Very nice. It's actually a cool name. I like that a lot.
Jake Thistle? Yeah. Or the song
good.
title, Ghosted Road.
Yeah, I have to show the Mad Max sign, even though it was exactly.
It was a loose reference.
It was a very loose.
I did refer to it, so
totally fine. It's usually me, so it's nice actually to have somebody else do it once in a while.
Sure.
All right, let's get this here thing going right here.
Everyone knows it's Wendi.
It's my sister Wendi, a professional therapist who comes on the show every Thursday and helps you with your problems and does it out of the goodness of her heart. Hello, Wendi.
Hey.
Hey,
Hi, guys.
how's it going?
Hello.
Good.
Hey, wanted to give you a little follow-up. You know, the Ukrainian refugee people we were doing the whole thing for? Went over there, talked to them, had a good time. They had some kids. One of them super into video games, so we had a big long chat, and he had this amazing accent, and I could listen to that kid talk all day. And anyway, they were really grateful and really nice, and they wanted me to pass it on to everybody who helped, which you're one of them. So thanks for that. It went great. And
nice.
yeah, it was good. The Ukrainians, man, they're cool. The one I was telling Brian, the one almost wore a tracksuit. It was more like a sweatsuit, but it was almost a tracksuit. And the stereotype was real, man. It was great.
Love it. Love it.
It was amazing.
So
anyway, it's good to have you back. As we hurdle towards Christmas, we thought we'd throw an email at you. Are you ready for this thing?
Yeah, it's really like heartwarming and lovely.
It truly is.
Exactly.
The true spirit of Christmas. I don't know. It struck me as something that would be not only interesting to talk about, but I wonder how many times we all see something like this and don't know it, you know, or pass by and not know. But anyway, I'll get to it so that makes sense to people. This is from somebody we're going to call Random Guy. He says, hello, Scott, Brian, and Wendi. I have a question for Wendi. How can someone tell if a stranger is suicidal? The reason I ask is that the other night I could have prevented one, but didn't know I could have prevented it at the time. It was 11 p.m. or abouts, and I was getting ready for bed. I hear a crash of some kind, a flash of lights through my blinds, and the power goes out. I open my front door to investigate, and there is a large pickup that drove up to the guidelines of the pole that has a street light. The power comes back on, and I see, and the guy is out of his truck looking at what he did. I call out to him, but he doesn't answer. I put on my shoes, and I walk out. He has now gotten back into the truck and is spinning his tires trying to back out. All he is doing is starting to splinter the pole. As I walk up, another guy walks up and we go and talk to him. I look under the truck while the other guy talks to what is clearly a drunk kid in his early 20s. He gets back into the truck and starts spinning his tires again. The door is open and I tell him to stop. He is going to pull the pole out and it's going to knock out our power. He is sorry and says that how he messed up. Let's see. We tell him, yes, it is a mistake, but it's okay. You'll get through it. And he said he was just somewhere he shouldn't have been. We say we haven't. We have all been there. Just get out of the truck. He gets out, gets back in several times. By the time another guy comes up and says the police are on their way, at this point, we start trying to keep the guy from leaving the scene and not hurting himself or others. He is very apologetic and says he really screwed up and it's not recoverable. He gets back into the truck, closes the door, and starts to try to back up again. I open the door and he says to please just move away. I ask him to just turn off the truck. He does and then turns it back on. I try to reach for the keys, but it's too far for me without climbing in. Before he can put it in gear, I take his arm and pull him out of the truck. He is mostly out before he grabs hold and starts resisting. The original guy that walked up and with us puts him in a chokehold, and we carefully lay him down on the road and talk to him after releasing him. The third guy takes the keys. After a bit, he gets up and moves away from us down the street. That is just a loop that will come back to us. We figure he can't go anywhere. It backs up to some woods with a creek. It's been raining, and that area is a swamp right now. He will just come back to us. What we don't know is that he lives on the far side. The police come, we tell our tale. We see the guy at the end of the street walking to the park and point him out to the police. They go after him, and he runs. He says this is how it ended. He stopped by his condo when we walked away. His condo when we walked away. His girlfriend who lives there told police he grabbed his gun and left. Then the police chased him. He fired a shot. Huge manhunt ensues. Sirens, helicopter, police with rifles, and chambered, he says. It is now a shit show. It's very late now, and the police take our statements and tell us the kid shot himself in the head and died. We knew the kid was scared and tried to calm him down. He was very apologetic and polite. In hindsight, we wish we would have detained him, but didn't know he was so scared that shooting himself was his only way out or best way out. We all felt like shit. We could have stopped that kid from doing that. Just a waste. He seemed like a decent kid who was driving drunk. How do you know? Thanks, says random guy. So that's a gnarly experience.
Yeah.
And you know, it's easy just to say, well, how would you guys know? Of course you wouldn't know. It's not your fault. And it isn't their fault. I mean, they tried to do what they could do. But what do you say to someone like this because it'll haunt them a bit, you know? Yeah. Probably is now and will for the foreseeable future. They will think of it. And if you know, experience is anything to be looked at, whenever you see something kind of harsh or shocking, I always think of that guy, that dead body they pulled out of the river when we were kids, and me seeing that when the flooding was happening. I still think about that when I see a river. Every time I see a river, my brain goes, dead naked guy getting pulled out of the river. And it's always a negative experience, as it should be. I think. I don't think it should ever be a positive one.
It's always negative. It's
weird, right?
Why?
It's very strange. I can't figure out why, but anyway, so I guess everybody's probably got some version of that they can relate to here. What would you tell him if he was in your special chair?
Well, one would be let's start out what I would tell this person, and then we'll go into sort of suicide prevention and understanding certain factors about that. But just sort of the overarching thing is to process this with other people.
Right.
And, you know, you got to tell the story and you know, get support, right? So the hard thing about sometimes processing these difficult things is everyone might be tempted to say the same exact thing to you, which is, oh, it's not your fault, right? Rather than letting you get through saying the course of grieving or the shock, right? Like all of this is just, you're just like ready to go to bed. And then suddenly this whole evening unfolds and, you know, that's a lot. And so just to be able to get it all out, I think is really important. So we're helping them do that a little bit here. But just that idea of finding some safe spaces to process this. And it sounds like there were other people there maybe that live nearby that you might see again or something. Maybe there's some connecting to them because you all went through this thing together too, right? There's some connection to that. So being very, very very gentle with yourself in this sense of like when something traumatic happens in any degree of trauma, you know, a lot of things snap into place, which tend to be how we were trained or taught or culturally molded into handling certain things. And then we have our own personalities that get involved. And then we have our own, you know, kind of all that stuff. So it may be like, you know, someone just goes home and goes to sleep and that's that for them. And then other people are needing to talk through it, you know, just kind of honor whatever you need. And then also recognize if your tendency is to shut that all in, that's probably a cultural norm or a family trait of like, we don't talk about hard things or something. But really processing is going to be hugely beneficial to move past trauma. So Scott, actually, let me ask this question. When you saw a dead body get pulled out of a river, did you get to process that with anybody?
Well, so I don't know if you know what happened that very day. But the day started, or that earlier that day, I was up in that, I think it was the same day, I was up in that unfinished roof of Jimmy Jensen's new house.
Yeah.
With Jimmy. And I'll never forget just that feeling of like, I was just hanging out and talking about school and girls and cars and dumb stuff when you're 14 or 13, whatever I was. And then suddenly we're like, oh, what's going on down there? I don't know. I see police. There's sirens. What's going on? Oh my gosh, they're pulling a body out. And then we get this full view of this thing. The way I processed it was I went home it was later is my memory. I laid down on the couch and I think I was in shock because I woke up in like kind of a hysteria moment and barfed all over Mom's ugly couch, just yacked. And it was this, but it was such an ugly couch that you probably couldn't tell that I barfed.
You didn't know. No one knew.
Yeah, no one knew.
Sure.
I cleaned it up pretty good. But anyway, I horked all over the couch. I wasn't actually sick. It definitely felt like nerves, you know, like I was just shot. And for a while, I was just like cold and shaky and just, I think shock, honestly, like actual clinical shock, not, well, what a shocking event. I mean, like actual shock you'd be you know, diagnosed with or whatever. And Mom was like, you know, I remember Mom and Dad arguing about whether I should go to the hospital for this or not. And they decided not to because I was like cogent at some point and was fine. But that was literally maybe the most processing I did because I don't think I even really had a deeper conversation after that. It's just always now been like a story I tell. A thing that I saw. So I never really did, you know.
So you processed your stomach and that was about it.
Yeah. I processed like a panic attack, or if that's what it even was. That may have been the first one I've ever experienced, actually, now that I look back on it.
So I don't know why you're like nervous kid or anything.
No, it doesn't make sense at all, does it?
Making sense.
No, weird.
Oh, weird.
How strange.
Yeah. And okay. So the answer is no, you've never processed it. Okay. So it actually gives a good example of how vivid, like you can't see a river without having this memory. And everyone might be like, yeah, that's normal. Well, that's normal for your generation. Meaning like mom and dad are like, wow, he's having a physical reaction. Maybe we get help for that. But often historically, there has not been like, hey, something hard just happened in your life, or you just saw something traumatic. Should we talk to someone about it, or even talk to us, talk through it? And, just even have the skill set to do that. Pretty rare, probably around the 80s in your life.
Sure.
And so we take that as, it's not like you're the poster child for look at what trauma does long-term, but it does. Unprocessed trauma long-term has incredible effects on people, and usually health effects, right? Because it can act as a stress. So we'll just play this up a little bigger. Let's say every time you passed a river, you had a panic attack. Let's say you avoided ever going near rivers.
Right.
Like you can see how this gets deeper and deeper, and can cause distress in ways that, over a lifespan, cause heart disease, stuff like that. Okay. So that being said, right, like this processing is my main advice, like having a free, safe place to go through that and not letting everyone just tell you it's not your fault, because that's not how processing works. So everyone think in your mind, the last time someone came to you to vent something and it was so hard not to just solve it or quickly try to make them feel better so you could feel better. Like, this is very human to just be like, oh, you're seeing that weird. No, that's not what's happening. And every once in a while, that's what someone needs. They need to have someone talk through it with them and help them make sense. But most of the time, there is just it's like a biological requirement to process through something you've seen. And so I should be clear about one thing. We have learned this is, after, and I've talked about this before, but after natural disasters, you got a lot of people who want to come and help, or, a large, difficult, school shooting or something like that. And so, all these clinicians are like, let's go help, right? So they would go, and what we have found is that trying to process while someone is still in shock can actually deepen the trauma. And so you can't go deep then. That's just triage processing or triage presence. Sometimes that's why animals are the perfect therapists, right?
Yeah.
They don't make you have to dig or anything, but there's a comfort and a grounding and a settling first. So we've learned that for the most part. So now you barfing and being in shock, not the time for them to say, how are you feeling, Scott? About seeing a dead body?
That's not quite the time, yeah.
Okay, so just making that clear. And then, maybe the next day might have been the time to talk about it. Just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
When you know better, you do better, right? That's what a generational difference is. But what we find is that sort of that processing and putting in order, people go through ranges of different emotions, and it just doesn't stick the way it sticks when it cannot be discussed. That's why trauma that is based in secrecy in any form is definitely the worst version. And sticks very deeply for people because it just screams, it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe. And so your body's like, yeah, forever, I will not be safe, right?
Yeah, I guess, and I never really stopped. I've never thought about this, but there's been plenty of rivers in my life since then, and it was always fine. That same river, I still went swimming in that little weird swimming hole off the bridge there, and where we lived. I still did that. Years later, I don't know, fished a few times in rivers, went down a river, did a river trip with a big giant roaring river like that. I never connected that for some reason. I just connected, we're pulling a dead human body out of a thing, and it was never the river. It was this body. And the fact that, and someone saying, oh, the river was so rough and it was so deep, it tore all of his clothes off. That I remember, like, just feeling like, what would be worse? What's worse than drowning? Drowning and then them pulling you out of the river naked. Right. Like, as silly as that sounds, that's in my head is like insult to injury moment, Like, it's one thing if you leave this mortal coil. It's another thing if you're in your freaking bathing, your birthday suit at age 35 or whatever the guy was, and I just could not get that out of my head. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and trauma does a particular thing, especially sort of witnessing something. I mean, you notice when there's a car accident and everyone's rubbernecking and slowing down and having to look. There is a piece of us that needs to see something, maybe to understand it and to not be that thing, right? To prevent that thing from happening to you.
Yeah.
It's a safety response. Visually, that's one of our dominant senses as humans, and so that's how we get in that information. So those images get burned in your brain, right? Like this naked 35-year-old pulled from a river is the image burned in your brain. And that's because your whole system is designed to like never let that happen to you. Don't get in that car accident. Don't, and so and everyone's a little different in what they're drawn to look at or not. But again, it's about prevention and safety and survival to some extent, right? Okay, so let's go to the emailer. So this is traumatic for them. I want them to process. Clearly, we have a situation where unless you are a trained first responding type clinician, you are not going to see this for what it became. You just wouldn't see that. And then should you even seek to find that out is what's questionable about this story for me is like the things he would have had to say and do to find out if this kid was suicidal. I just don't know if anyone would do. Like, it's so out of the norm to be like, hi, I'm just watching a kid ran into a pole. He was drunk driving. Like, that's crappy. Let's, help you out and try to, we're going to get the police here. You're just dadding it, like, let's just make this better and make sure everyone's okay. And, everyone brings whatever skill set to that moment is at that moment. And it's not going to be in anyone's mind, even probably a trained clinician, to be like, let me ask you the 5 questions to determine if you're going to take your life. Mm-hmm. And so, those things happen in a sequence that went out of the control of this person or whoever else was there to make any real difference with. And that's tricky. What they would have had to do is physically restrain this person. And that gets questionable, right?
Complicated. Yeah.
Really
I think if if you're just sort of holding them down until somebody comes, whether that's the cops or whoever you've called, family, whatever.
Yeah.
That's one thing, I suppose, but it doesn't sound like this was that simple.
No.
And also they're not wanting to do that. But oh man,
you're putting yourself at risk and you have no idea. Yeah. I mean, it's asking a lot of just a person about to go to bed to come out and, manage all of this, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it's really hard, because you can always second guess, well, I could have tried this or I could have done this. If you really think about, like, what would anyone do? And I think they did the thing that anyone could and should do, which was try to de-escalate any situation. The kid was going to run that pole over and then knock all the power out, maybe really harm himself or others, right? Like, so they were, doing the thing they needed to do, and then it takes off running. Mm-hmm. So are you going to chase the 20? He didn't say how old he was.
No, he didn't say.
The emailer
says kid, but that could be.
Well, the
emailer.
The emailer.
Oh, how old the emailer is? No, he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, if you're also 20 and super in shape, then go for it. But it's maybe not what's always happening in life, and so you just don't know, and that's really tricky. So I don't know if I would do anything differently or even advise anything differently, because I think there's other risks we don't know, and that's kind of how stories work, right? One thing led to another thing, an unintentional consequence or whatnot. I don't know. Yeah. Clearly there was way more going on than anyone there had any sense of, which gets to, and we can go back to the actual story if you would like to, but which gets to this bigger, broader conversation, though, about how do you spot typically someone you know well or care about who is having suicidal feelings versus this quick 5-minute interaction with someone who's clearly drunk, so you wouldn't have a sense of anything actually, right? And even in those circumstances, so maybe first responders have, there's training that's like, you make sure you remove any way, they're just built to think differently about those situations than regular people just trying to help out, right? But so let's just talk about that briefly with other people. So I'm going to just ask you guys what you think is good conversation to have that's helping prevent suicide.
Good conversation to have.
Yeah, like, how would anyone do this? And maybe you're at a coffee shop with a buddy. Like, we don't have to make it a drama scene, but like, because is this like a normal question you guys ask all your friends? Like, are you feeling suicidal?
Yeah, exactly. How are you doing these days?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, if you sense that, and without going into any details, somebody that I text with yesterday, started expressing, like some depression issues, and said something like, it's a struggle some mornings getting up, and so I went into like, it's like my template for doing this, but it's obviously everything kind of gets amplified this time of year with the holidays and kind of that forced solitude of being inside because of the cold weather, and seeing other people having these great holidays, and no matter how good yours is, you kind of always look at the other people and seeing how theirs is. So you've got to look at it in the perspective that this too shall pass, right? We all go through peaks and valleys, as somebody in the tadpole said a few minutes ago. And this is just a valley. You're going to be out of it. Don't worry. You gotta. We're here to get you through that valley. We love you, and we're there for you. So you just gotta. You'll make it through this valley to the next peak.
Yes, and if you think about what friends can do, right? And this is where, if you had a professional say to you in an assessment, like, "Oh, you'll get over it. Like, it'll happen."
Yeah, and certainly
very
I'm not
different
saying
story.
to phrase it like that, like, shake it off, you'll be fine.
No, I know you're not.
But I mean, definitely like look, we're here for you to help you get through this.
Yes, that's awesome, right? And so let's actually differentiate what you would do as a professional versus what you would do as a friend. So as a friend, as a friend, you are like, I mean, clearly you're not going to be like, all right, I'm going to ask you these 6 questions and I need to know all the truth and the answers, but you can. And here's what is the challenge for everyone, including professionals, is this is a very hard conversation to have sometimes. It's really hard.
Yeah.
To even bring up. Every one of us is scared of the word in some form, right? And because what if the person says yes? Well, then what do I do? So it's a bit of the, taboo is not the right word, but just like it's such a difficult conversation to have. And so there's this thing called mental health first aid. You guys have maybe heard that reference before, and it's a very in-depth training. I know of someone who goes around Kansas, rural Kansas, and teaches mental health first aid to farmers, basically, because it's such a cool job. On one hand, because you are really going to a group of people who have, historically maybe not had a lot of access to mental health training, and maybe talking about your feelings on a farm hasn't been the number one thing people do, and so you're really giving this group of folks a way to understand their own mental health as well as their coworkers and family members and loved ones. I mean, you guys can all Google the statistics, but it's something like twice the number of murders or deaths. I mean, the death rate and the suicide rate, and how it's increased dramatically in the last couple of years, and definitely in the last 20. It's a problem, right? And so everyone's trying to address it in every which way that they can. And so I wish what could happen, though, is mental health first aid was just taught in school, and that it was just, all right, you're going to get your driver's license. Also, you need this quick training on mental health first aid, because really what we have found is a way to save a life comes down to asking a couple hard questions and then helping the person get help. So you don't have to be an expert. So I'm going to do this thing, or I'm going to read you sort of what a professional needs to do in order to assess. So you can just see how hard it is.
And that should be the first thing as a friend, is to not to say, oh, you need to go talk to somebody, but it's like that is kind of where the direction needs to go as a friend, unless you're trained to do all this stuff. It should be, hey, let me help you find somebody who can do a better job of this than me. So let's talk about the questions.
But I will be there for you, and I will help you get there. And that support is huge, because a couple of mental things that are happening when folks are suicidal. We should have a warning on this show, by the way.
Yeah, we probably could have done like a thing at the top or something.
Yeah. So here's your official warning.
Yeah.
It's way too late. Sorry.
I'll put it in post for the recorded one, which is how 90% of people get it. So
please do that. Yeah. And let me just explain why you do that. Why is that important to have a warning when suicidal thinking, action, behavior is discussed? There is an interesting, unfortunate sort of contagion that can occur. And it's very triggering. And a lot of people might be walking around kind of fighting a balance of wanting to be alive or not. And so when you just talk about it, it's like, and so this is another reason why we're concerned to even bring up the topic, because we don't want it to be happening. And so people will just kind of continue to suffer alone because it's not safe to talk about this topic. So then when a show has it as, part of the drama or the whatever, and they put warnings, they do that because, if you're going to be triggered by this, you need to know that's coming and maybe avoid it altogether, because it can push you into darker places in your brain that you didn't know, were there. So that's why that's important. Okay. So let's just take someone comes into my office or is being referred to a hospital or some place for an assessment. You get really detailed, but one of the probably the most important thing is that you are asking questions in a non-alarming, matter-of-fact way. And so let's just talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
So pick a person in your life that if you said a particular thing to, would they just freak out automatically, right? Like, could be that your grandma, we do not talk about that, or there's just it's sort of built in the cultural norm that this is not something that can be talked about.
There are landmines that you just know to stay away from. Yes,
totally. And so you have that happening for the most people are thinking or have some version of this with suicide, or have definitely prior to the last few years where I think we're slightly more open to discussing it. But anyway, so you are afraid that your thinking you're the only one. It is an incredibly isolating experience to have your brain take you to those places where you think everyone's better off without you. So in that brain state, the other person saying, you are thinking about what? I mean, you can imagine just how much harder you're going to make things if they have to now take care of they already feel like they can't tell you, right?
Right.
So that's why that's so important.
Yeah. Now they have to spend time calming you down.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Treating
and
you, basically.
lying to you by lying to you. That's what they'll have to do, which makes them feel even more alone and unsafe, right? And I understand what I'm asking here, and obviously professionals train for this and have to work on it. And one thing that has really helped me in this whole process is knowing if they're talking to me, they are not harming themselves right that minute, right? Like,
sure,
they are not choosing suicide because they are actually in my office. They drove there and could have taken their lives many times on the way. They didn't. They're in front of me. And that has helped me really calm down that part of me that's like, oh, because none of us want someone to die, right? Everyone wants everyone to be okay. And so it really can really heighten that. I got to do this right, or I don't want to get sued. And there's all these thoughts that I think professionals have had for years with this. And you work long enough, you figure out some of this stuff. But recognizing like you're there, you need help is the safest place for them to be in that moment. And so that has really helped me. But you have to get into the sort of details to know how to help somebody. Okay. So again, this is professionals. This is not your neighbor, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So you would ask very specifically sort of, are you having suicidal thoughts or thoughts of harming yourself? You just kind of can use all the little words until you feel like they are hearing what you're saying, and making it clear that it's okay if they do. People have those thoughts, and then you can just put it in some other terms, like, do you ever wish you could sleep and not wake up, or wish you were dead? And then you get more specific about, have you thought about how you might do it? So the plan is really one of the ways we understand how far someone is along if they've thought through a plan. And then you can ask specifics of like about the plan. Do you, like you say, well, I've thought about, taking pills. And then it's like, have you been collecting pills? What do you have in your house? Like you can start to get more specific.
Right. And the more specific you get, the more you can, the more that'll tell you, right, about how deep in this are we? How up to the edge are we?
Ideation, planning, those are more alarming signs. So, maybe everyone has thought, I'd like to go to sleep and not wake up tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've got to dig to find out, because there's socially acceptable things to say, like I'm really depressed, or I just want to be in bed all day. And we can all hear that and go, oh yeah, that's rough. I get that. And then it's the sort of going deeper in the next step. And so what we found is even in this mental health first aid is sort of a piece of this, is training regular people to know how to ask a couple of these questions in a way that will increase the likelihood of someone being safe. And so it would be, are you having suicidal thoughts?
Right.
And if the person says yes, or, and some of that, going back to kind of the skill set, and this is what's hard, is normalizing that this can happen. And I think one of the main things I've had to do with clients who have been suicidal is to reassure them I'm not going to run them to a police station right then, or drop them off immediately at a hospital, that I am willing to talk through all of this with them first.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing, it's like a two-edged sword. I have so much going on that I don't know if I can do anymore. But if you take me to a hospital, then my life falls apart. Right. Yeah. And so it's really difficult. So when we go back to this emailer, there's no way you can have done any of these things.
Right.
Any of these things.
None of this is part of that exchange that he had. You can't, there's no setup for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is someone sitting in my office with the whole intent that they could share something with me confidentially and we can get there. Right.
Yeah.
It's still having to work through that. And 90% of my success in these kinds of cases, I think, is just my demeanor. It truly is like, I got you, and we're going to talk through all these things. Nothing you're going to tell me is going to scare me. Yeah,
you're in a safe place. I'm a safe person to talk to. This isn't a trick. Yeah. You're not trapped here. Yeah, all that stuff.
Absolutely not. And there is help, and there is a way. And once your brain starts to do some of this thinking, it's hard to get it to stop. It's kind of like a neural pathway's been built, and we have to learn how to get it to do other things. But it's probably not just going to stop doing that by itself, right? And that's, so you're building hope, and you're creating that, like, this is safe and you're not alone, and those type of things. And I can help you get the help that's going to do this type of thing. Now, if it's just your friend or your fellow farmer and you're seeing some signs you're concerned about, so some of those signs could be, mentioning some of these hopeless things. There's very commonly the thinking that truly others are better off without you. That's when we're getting into some scarier territory. If they give away things that are cherished to them, and they're sort of, it's like they're detaching from their physical possessions and different things. The other sign is, and this is what has always been so difficult, is someone is struggling and then they suddenly seem happier. Is actually a really big red flag. Because often they're struggling with the decision. So ideation, think of it as kind of being tortured, right? With this idea. And the idea could solve all your problems. But then also it's going to hurt someone. And like, you're just battling. So when someone gets to peace about the decision, they can seem like everything's better. And everyone's like, well, great. And it's actually more concerning. But people don't see that till they see it in retrospect.
It's too late. Yeah, exactly. Right.
So that's why, I think if, you take the symptoms you're seeing before seriously, and that's why learning some basics of, mental health first aid is, though we can all relate, and none of us are immune from any of these experiences. But if you can see someone really struggling and you're having some of these conversations, and you can pick up that there's maybe not plans for improvement, or I'm going to get help, or I've talked to my doctor, or, some other things, then you're a little more concerned.
Well, let me ask you this tiny side note, because it's keeps popping up in my head. So I think it's worth asking.
Yeah.
My experience in my life, which is the only experience I can go off of, that's why I'm telling it from my perspective, has been, for those who I've known throughout my life that have taken their own lives. Mm-hmm. They were always people that no one had any idea. Mm-hmm. It just, no one knew. No one said anything. You went, wait, he was the captain of the football team. What are you talking about? Like, stuff like that. And then those who I know who were talking about it all the time, or sometimes just outright threatening it, or, just discussing about how maybe I don't need to be in this world anymore. Those, just kind of being outwardly talkative about their depression or their feelings or whatever. they're all still here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they're crying wolf. That's not my point, because I don't think that's true.
Which I'll say something about that in a second.
Okay.
So go ahead.
But we don't have to get into details, but you and I have specific familial experience with a situation like this, where it was always being threatened, but it was difficult to tell whether that was being used against people or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, it feels like the ones, or it always has felt like the ones that are really going to go through this, we just didn't have any idea. And so we can only help those who are vocal, or that show outward signs, but those who aren't, I don't know how you get to those people. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Because and just from experience, they seem to be the ones that actually go through with it, but we didn't know. So anyway, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, or if that's even worth.
Brian, did you have something you want to say?
No, no, it was just
okay.
Yeah.
You were humming along. Okay, awesome. Well, I just didn't know if you were
humming along. Yeah.
Doopity boob. This is such an easy topic.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just talk about that briefly, because you're hitting on why this is so difficult, and why mental health first aid really should be as common as physical first aid, in that it's just about knowledge and understanding, and having a better grasp on these things for ourselves, right? If you sit through a training that talks about this, and you're like, I've had all those experiences. Oh, and here is all the solutions to help me with that. That'd be one thing, right? We don't do that in any direct ways through education. And I think it's unfortunate, right? And so there's that piece of maybe just more systemically improving access to good information that way, and having it be put in instead of it's always optional, but it matters, right? Okay, so there's that, but then there's also this, the people who are talking about it either because somebody heard them and could then offer them guidance or help, or they're processing out loud might be some of that difference. People who just kind of quietly go about this tend to be isolated. I mean, there's signs much earlier too. And just most of us aren't looking for them. And some people are really hiding them. That can happen as well. But so often it's a couple factors that really drive this is the belief that it's helpless. So if I keep everything inside, I only have my inner world to decide if things are hopeless and there's no way out, right?
Right.
If I'm saying it out loud, someone else is going to say, like Brian, your description of this supportive, like, this is a valley and we will walk with you through this valley. Like, once there's someone else with you, it's a really different ball game, right? And so, I think it requires families to get better at communicating in these particular ways. It's communities, schools. I know this mental health first aid training they're attempting to go to all law enforcement and firefighters, and because you're killing two birds with one stone. Sorry for the pun, but like, you're getting the workers who are going to have to deal with this on the front line, but also them for themselves, right? So let's just talk really briefly about the attention-seeking version of this, because that is a thing and can happen, and unfortunately causes disruption for the other versions of suicidal, feelings and ideations and that type of thing, because people can get a little bit like, well, they just want attention. And if you think about just the origin of that, right?
I hate that though.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Isn't that crazy? We're like, oh, you just want attention. And here's the thing. There is someone who needs attention, and then they threaten suicide, and then people just say, oh, no, they still need attention.
They still need attention.
It's not even maybe for suicidality at all, but there is something going wrong. And so I think of this as like parenting a kid in terms of teaching them not to steal, right? This goes back, Scott. You and I probably both had this exact experience. Yeah. You steal something when you're 5, your mom marches you back to the store, makes you apologize and pay for it. Yep. And, you get an immediate lesson on a thing, and it works because you don't ever want to do that again, right? And I don't mean it's as a punishment, but as as a general rule, take anyone's suicidal threats seriously. You don't even have to decide.
Yeah.
You just take it as if that is a fact, because it will, first of all, the person will learn, oh, I get a ton of medical attention if I do this. And that's maybe just exactly what they need. It also may be, you know, my boyfriend broke up with me and I'm going to kill myself if he doesn't, you know, call me back. Okay, well then send in the big guns and say, well, all right, you said this and we take it very seriously. And I think schools are doing well, at least our school district is doing a slightly better job of just not messing around at all. And so it kind of, people will learn like, oh, that's not the way to get that attention, or they're going to get the attention that they need, right? So that's my default. Anyone jokes about it, I was just like, okay, so real quick. Like I don't, you know, I just take it seriously. And I know that's hard in a family dynamic where there's a kid who's always like, oh, don't love me, or you're not helping, you know, and then they escalate to that type of thing. I mean, it needs to be just the alarm bell that like, oh, we need to take their need for help seriously.
Even if, see, this is how I look at it. Even if it's somebody who is purposely using it as a tool to antagonize people in their lives. Even if that's the case, and I'm sure there are cases of this, you know, everyone's different. If that's the case, that's still a proper cry for help. Like it's still, even if they have no intention of committing suicide, there's a hole that needs filling, and you can help with that. Like you don't need to see it as like, oh, they're just like, it isn't this binary exchange.
No, it's usually an attachment problem.
Right.
They are feeling very insecurely attached for whatever reason to people in their lives. Something's not okay, and they need help.
Right. Right. Well, so there's two things I hope come out of this. People who are perhaps experiencing those feelings or know somebody who is. I hope some of this was helpful for you. I really hope it was, so we can save some lives. But also, I hope this dude doesn't get too hard on himself for second guessing everything he did that night, because I don't know any of us who would have handled any of that any differently.
Right.
Like that's the funny thing is here. It's not like there was a point where I go, oh, there was your mistake. There was not, you didn't do any of that.
No. And also there were plenty of people just sat in their apartments.
Right.
Yeah. And I think of, you know, Mr. Rogers, you know, look for the helpers.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of helpers among us, and the more we're ready to help in ways that are effective are great, right? But like just the kindness of some strangers trying to help a kid is just heartwarming, and it's really tragic in the end.
Yeah.
But the reality is, this is more and more a risk, and the more guns we have, the higher the risk of successful suicides are. We can look at all the stats through the world and the States. You know, more guns, it's easier because it's these moments. In fact, they've sort of narrowed it down to like a 5-minute window of where it's just 100% convincing in your brain to end it all. And if you can get through that 5 minutes, and that's why people will turn themselves in. They will go to when they get that desperate that they need to not be alone. And that 5 minutes with a gun works much faster than 5 minutes when you're trying to figure out a plan. And that's what's the future of this is tricky. And that's why we always have to, again, do the caveat and the warning. So please put it on here, is just, it can just, even the topic and the can trigger people, but also I hope it at least triggers this, that there is so much good help for this. This isn't a permanent state. Even just the window where people take their lives is a short window.
Yeah.
And getting help and, you know, getting out of that place that's maybe not a short journey out. And that's difficult. Sometimes it is. Sometimes just having somebody know. I found that very frequent. If someone just knows I'm thinking these things, there's so much relief. You're just not alone.
Yeah.
And so seek out that help. And if you struggle to find it in any form, send us an email and we will find it, help you find it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We want you here.
Send emails to themorningstream@gmail.com. Text us at 801-471-0462 or any of the methods you can get a hold of us. We would be happy to
DM,
help you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Never not willing. Awesome. Well, Wendi,
Merry Christmas.
Big Christmas plans? you do anything
It's
exciting?
actually a very appropriate topic for this time of year.
Yeah, it is.
It's a depressing time of year. It's January that I hate.
Effectiveness disorder. And
Yeah,
stuff,
that's when I get grumpy. Is right around January. Oof. We'll see how I do this year.
Are you? In January.
Are you?
Right
do you
the
got
first Tuesday in November?
That's right. Are you doing any big plans? You going anywhere? You just home with the kids?
We're just doing a little fun cabin trip up north and play in the snow with some friends, and that's it.
Yeah, careful
because we
cold.
currently have. I mean, you guys had some good snowstorms. We have. I mean, it snowed 10 inches last night.
Jeez.
So we are. It just looks like a flipping frozen Christmas card everywhere. So it's great.
That's
but
great.
January, it doesn't. It looks like.
What's the temperature in the Twin Cities right now? How cold is it?
Oh, it's super warm. Let me tell you.
Really?
I don't know.
It's only -10.
It is -7.
Oh, it's not so bad. Brian, you got colder weather than Wendi. How do you feel about that?
Well, there's -8 right now, so just beating you by 1.
Wow. What's your
-8.
humidity index? Let's fight.
It's probably Colorado. I think it's
pretty dry.
0.
Yeah.
0 humidity.
You're like Utah. We don't get
the
any of that.
humidity index would be right now.
I guess we have some.
I'm at 74%. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So that feels worse. A
right
lot
through
worse.
Yeah, and that wind, it just like woo. Yeah, it's great.
Damn,
so
dude.
remind me why I live here in January. Just
all right.
remind me.
Well, Winter Wonderland aside, have a fantastic holiday. Merry Christmas to you and all the kids, and to Adam and everybody. And we will see you next year.
All
No,
right,
are you here next week? I don't remember. Remind me.
Wait, what?
Are you here next week? Next Thursday?
No.
Okay, that's right. You're gone.
Making a snowman. So yeah,
happy.
Next week, no,
then happy New Year. May 2023 bring Wendi and her family nothing but I don't know cool deals at Walmart. I don't know.
I have a kid who will move out this next year. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Abraham on the road. That's weird.
I know, it's going to be amazing.
All right.
Yeah, happy New Year to you guys too. We'll see you next year.
All right. Bye now.
Okay.
Don't drink. She doesn't drink.
Does that mean we're not getting her next Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday's out. That sounds like she'll be up at the Doodah.
Like it. Yep.
All right, we are done with the show. Nice long one today, but that's okay because big holiday coming up, and and I really do hope today's segment helps somebody because I don't know, I just don't.
For sure.
I don't want anyone getting hurt. Come on now.
No.
Let's get to just mentioning that our Patreon is how things flow. It's how it works. It's how we're able to stay on top of stuff and keep things moving. If you would like to help us out and be a part of our Patreon, you can do it at patreon.com/TMS. And a quick note, I believe tomorrow we will be able to get in a couch party. That's the plan right now.
Okay, good.
I think
we're seeing Way of Water, but we, if we're doing a Ms. Marvel, the final episode of Ms. Marvel, plenty of time.
Oh, perfect. We'll do our finale. Oh, that's awesome. We'll do that. Oh, a little bit of bad news about couch parties. I forgot to mention this.
Oh no. New couch?
No, whenever I put the video version up anywhere,
Our couches pull out, but we don't.
I get DMCA takedowns every time I've done it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I had it on one service. They did takedowns. I'm like, all right, well, what weird clandestine dark web place can I put it next?
Sure.
And I've tried everything, including archive.org.
Oh.
They issued takedowns. I don't know where to put these files.
This is a new thing, actually. I just got an email from Patreon yesterday that we can now, there's now video. We can now put video on Patreon.
Sort of.
Where is it?
So I checked into that.
Oh, is it? Okay, you did. All right.
They will do DMCA takedowns of any copyrighted material.
Oh, they will. Okay.
So I can't do that either. Also, we have a grandfathered account which doesn't have that feature yet, which kind of sucks. But it also means we get better payout percentages because we're still on the original
Sucks
plan.
being a grandpa.
I know, right? It's the worst. So I'm trying to figure something out. I'm not going to do anything too weird because I don't want to send people down funny links, but.
Right. That's right. Go check out our episode at fileupload.com.
Yes,
.ru or something.
Now, audio 100% no problem. That's will still be a thing. What I'm thinking is I have an AWS bucket with Amazon. Yeah. I might be able to do like a week-to-week thing where I'll put like a 4 gig video file up there and then it goes away when the next one gets posted. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I'm figuring it out. I like that you guys get to watch it, and for those who can't be there live, copyright's weird. It just shouldn't work this way, but it does. Anyway, that's it for that. I could do torrents, I guess. Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Ugh.
Oh, you know what? Somebody could do someone's Plex server could host these. Get a hold of me. We'll come up with something.
Gallifrey?
Yeah, somebody got a little bit of room on that hard drive there.
Not a bad idea, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, that'll do it for us. Thank you all for listening again tonight. Lots of content happening here. If you want to watch Play Retro, that'll be at 2:30. Core will be at 5. And there is one more core this year. Next week we'll be doing our best of the year special episode, so you're going to want to hear that. And then, like Brian said, Coverville tomorrow or Saturday. Watch for that. And I think that's everything.
Okay.
I think that's it. Brian, if that's it, play a song then. You know?
I guess I could. Yeah. Speaking of people we know and love that we've talked to earlier in this episode, Red Fraggle wrote in or texted or Discord or I don't know. She used, as everybody else should use, our method of getting requests in, which is by going to frogpants.com/TMS. Don't do it a different way.
Yeah, no special treatment for people that come on and do guest spots, okay?
Exactly.
Get your ass where all the plebeians go. That's how it works.
Right. Exactly. So, this one's from Amy in honor of Chuck's surgery today. No particular reason we're choosing this particular song with this particular title, but this is going out to Chuck, and it's a cover of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball.
Brian didn't tip me off on this. This is news to me. I love it. That's amazing.
She says, let's test the ship's phasers for good luck.
Yeah, let's do that.
Thanks and please forgive me. This was Chuck's idea, she says, signed Amy.
Where's phasers? No.
Let's test the ship's phasers.
There it is.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say how glad I am that Amy shipped out our boxes before any of these surgeries and removals of body parts occurred, because I could just imagine someone less scrupulous what they would send us for surprise Christmas presents.
Yeah, I'm glad that you had those parts before you. Yes, ship before you remove. That's the rule.
Yes, exactly. Shipped before those parts were removed. All right. How about a cover of Wrecking Ball? This one done by Rustic Overtones. This is so good. It changes the song up so much. From the album Mood Box, collected music by Rusted Overtones from 2014. Here is Wrecking Ball.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.